So I noticed that we seem to run away from peace by whatever means necessary. So we'll go on our phone and scroll all day. We'll put in our headphones or play music in the background at every waking moment. We will stuff our face with snacks while scrolling on TikTok. We will smoke weed every night, drink alcohol every weekend. We seem to be running away from this. Do you hear this? And my fridge actually just stopped buzzing. It makes this really loud hum. And I think it's a really good analogy actually, because when we're going about our day in this state of tension, where we're like anxious, looking around, what do I need to be doing? What do I do next? On the phone, listening to music, answering emails, just bleh. It's like when that fridge it's like when that fridge is buzzing or the air conditioner is on and it's like just like this mind noise. And our habits of excessive consumption and multitasking are making it more and more loud and more intense. So that layer of noise covers up what's underneath it, which is this. Listen. So we make this funny mistake where we think we need to run away from this. But meanwhile, this peace, this stillness, that's always underneath the layer of mind noise. This is exactly where we need to be. When we're able to get to this place of peace, stillness, tranquility, all of the cells in our body relax and they are rejuvenated. And it's like you can finally take a deep breath. But our minds seem to not understand that, or they get caught up in this idea that salvation is somewhere else. So then we're always looking for that salvation in the next post, so we just keep scrolling. Or we think the next song is going to give it to us, or the next person that we date, or the next joint that we smoke, or beer that we drink. So we just keep adding on and consuming and consuming, and the buzzing gets louder. And we're getting further and further away from that stillness. This is very tough because when we're in that addictive tendency of filling the space, it's very, very tough to break that pattern and to actually begin to get underneath the noise and access the stillness. It's tough to break that pattern because when you're in that habit, that's what your mind knows. You're in that groove, you're in that pattern, you're flowing in that way. So when you break it, immediately it's like the habit is still running. So you're like, what's next? What do I consume next? Am I going to shove food and snacks in my mouth or smoke something or scroll on TikTok, or what's it going to be? So when you realize you're just embedded in this overwhelming noise, unfortunately, what I'm finding in my own experiments is that there needs to be some discipline and almost forcing it in a way, forcing yourself to stop consuming. One example for me, a really big problem area, is the phone and the scrolling on social media. So something I've been doing ever since my 5-day silent meditation retreat in my apartment, where I was able to really access this peace finally and access this clarity. Something I've been trying to do is every night totally withdraw and retreat from my phone. So it seems that I'll kind of wake up, I'll be in this very peaceful place, I'll do my morning meditation, I'll really connect to this stillness that I'm talking about. And then the workday starts and I get on my phone and I'm on social media and things start happening, and sometimes that stillness actually sustains for quite a while, even as I'm doing all this stuff and doing things and talking to people and working and emails and posting and whatever. But oftentimes throughout the day, that noise just gets louder and louder, that buzzing gets louder. I start falling into those habits. I start falling into my addiction to stress and stimuli and overconsumption and multitasking. And by around 8 p.m., I'm just like, I'm totally back in that tense state. I'm in the noise. I've lost the layer of peace underneath it. So then my effort has been to put the phone in a drawer and turn it off and make myself face the void, which we're just so terrified of. And every time it is very, very, very difficult, because I've re-entered that pattern of consumption. So I'm like literally having withdrawals and I'm anxious and I'm like having intense cravings to go on my phone or fill the space with some other mechanism. So I think this period of discomfort that is inevitable when you try to break these patterns, it's painful. So we want to avoid that. And the quickest way to avoid that is to just keep consuming, keep scrolling, keep drinking, keep smoking, whatever it is, because then, and it could be a multitude of habits. You could use anything to fill the void. The shortcut is to just keep consuming it, keep doing the bad habit, because then you get the dopamine and you're comfortable. But we know by now that long term, that doesn't really work out. In fact, it kind of seems like it maybe destroys our lives. But there's that acute period of pain when you finally exercise the discipline and metaphorically turn off your phone and put it in the drawer and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually face the void now. There's this acute period of pain. But what I've noticed as I've been doing a good job with unplugging on my phone every night, I did the 5-day silent retreat with no stimuli pretty much. I've been 100 days free of alcohol, over 70 days free of weed. What I'm noticing is that the more you just force yourself to get through it, to get through that acute period of pain, guaranteed every time, if you just wait long enough without giving into that bad habit, picking up the phone and scrolling or whatever it is, you will, guaranteed, make it through that noise and touch this layer of peace and stillness. Should we listen for it again? You will make it here if you wait long enough. And what I'm noticing, the more and more I practice this discipline of pushing through these painful moments and achieving that state of presence and peace and stillness, I can tell that I'm retraining my mind. And my mind is starting to figure out, oh no, salvation is not in the scrolling and the drugs and the alcohol. It's actually just right here. So I almost want to say that it's getting easier. I think it is getting easier because this new habit is forming. But it's still very, very challenging every time I have to get through those sort of acute withdrawals, and then, I'll make it through. I'll make it through the noise and find that peace, and then I'll start to freak out again. And then I have to push through it again. So it's an evolving, repeating process, and I think it's damn well worth it. And what I see as being possible, and I'm not here yet, but I've caught tastes of it. And in the past, as I'm going through my day, I'm in that tight space all the time. And I think I need to be there in order to succeed, or else I'm going to fall behind. I think this is common in our society. But the more and more I'm able to find this peace, the more I am having moments where I'm working, I'm connecting, I'm in the world, I'm doing the thing. And I still, through all these actions, I'm still able to hear the silence. And that is pretty new for me. And I think it's really exciting. And that is really motivating me to keep pushing through those tougher moments in order to break through that layer, that addiction, in order to make it here again and again. So let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. I appreciate you listening, and I'll see you next time.